So there's something going on with my daughter.
The middle one.
Well, and also the eldest one. I mean, and now it's like it's infiltrating Ollie's life, but they're into this. They're into rap.
And into hip hop.
Is it hip hop?
Hip hop rap.
Right, hip hop rap. And like they keep singing this song, Gucci Flip Flaps, make the kid rock. And then I have no idea what the kid is saying after that point. And when you listen to it, you think, oh my God, that kid's definitely African American. She's as fucking white as this fucking white as snow. And they're just so into it at the moment. Like, and then you listen to the lyrics and I'm like, guys, you can't be listening to this. This is really not good. You know, like it's really not.
My sister had a rule, I think, with her kids when they were young, that they were allowed to swear during the songs. But like everything that she stood for as a human being, the kids literally sing the opposite in all the music because they're all into all of that, and like it's exactly the opposite of what my sister sort of like preached as, you know, the go-to and the whole, you know.
Well, they had this group on during the week, and I was like, I was listening to the lyrics of the song, and one of the lyrics was, choke me until I pass out. Like, what? And then I said, who is that? And they go, this is the most listened to song on YouTube at the moment. It's a little bit
scary, isn't it?
Fucking terrifying. This is the most listened to song on the internet at the moment. And I'm like, ready to go, yeah. This is a group called The Weeknd, and I'm like...
It's not a group, it's just... Is it?
No, they're called The Weeknd.
It's a guy.
Is it a guy?
Just one person.
Maybe it's one person. Yeah. And I'm listening to it, and it's like, oh my God. No, there's a girl singing in it as well. There's a guy and a girl singing in it. But they're a rap group.
You're showing your age.
I know, listen. When I was a kid, I'd be like, listen, who the fuck listens to Elvis? You know what I mean? My parents are like, who listens to Elvis? Or who listens to Neil Diamond? But I know I like Neil Diamond, I have to say. But you know, now I sit and I think they must have been listening to our songs. You know, like Culture Club, thinking, do you know what I mean? Come in. Or fucking Frankie Goes to Hollywood. You know, relax.
Yeah.
And so, but I think it's always been there. You know, it's just I as a kid I didn't know what Relax was about. Do you know what I mean? I had no idea. I didn't know what Two Tribes was about. But now when you get older, you listen to the lyrics and you realise, oh fuck, that's what they're actually singing about. And they were a group of gay lads that were a band. But now when as an adult, I listen to, I think the kids have no idea what the fuck they're listening to.
No, they don't, and then they
But there's subliminal messages there. You know, you want to be saying to your daughter, hey, you know, if you're fucking 18 and your partner's having sex with you, it's not okay if he chokes you until you pass out.
Yeah.
Because that's what they're, you know, advocating in those songs. And you got to listen to that.
There's a lot of... I started listening to the actual lyrics of songs early on because I wasn't allowed to listen to any of that sort of music, so I was very aware of what songs were saying, you know, at an early age. But you've got to be mindful about what you're programming your mind with. It's very important.
Yeah, very important. So one of the things we wanted to talk about this week was we wanted to talk about being people feeling as if they're lost. And that whole concept of, oh my God, I'm so lost. And
people feeling like they're lacking a bit of direction.
Yeah.
Feeling like, and we've all kind of been in that place at one point or another, you know. And I don't know if it's feeling like you're looking for somebody to give you direction. You're feeling like I'm in this place and I'm in a bit of a funk and I'm not really sure what's the next step.
Yeah.
And I think oftentimes for people, particularly for people in our community who've done some work on themselves, there's a level of yes, I'm lost, and I know that there's a way for me to get there, and I know some of the tools I need to implement in order to get somewhere. But it's like, I think sometimes that can be a little bit overwhelming, or people can overwhelm themselves with ideas of, yes, I've got this tool, I've got this tool, I've got this tool, I've got this. And sometimes it's like we've got to get back to basics with if you're feeling a little bit stuck and if you're feeling a bit lost, it's like what are some of the simple basic steps that you need to do to help you to get back on track and to feel in that rhythm and that flow of life again, you know?
Yeah, because I know whenever I used to feel lost, I had a compulsion to buy things. And what I would do is
retail therapy.
Yeah, I'd run in and I'd buy things, and I'd go and I'd set up my office, and I'd have my computer, and I'd have my pen and my notepad, and my desk, my chair, my glass of water, my plant, and everything is there. And that would just end up making me feel even worse because, okay, what am I doing with all of this? Where am I going with all of this? And so I think that people understanding that there is no such thing as lost. You are not actually ever lost.
You can't be.
No, you can't be. You're where you are if you're listening to this right now. You know where you're sitting. You know the environment you're in. But what happens is that you're not feeling where it is you want to be. You feel as if you're not there. So lost for people is, they get everything, they throw it all out,
Yeah, they feel like it's like, oh, nothing. So they label it as lost. But it's like, well, that means like it doesn't everywhere. But that's not true.
Yeah.
It's like it can't be all of it.
Yeah.
It's in parts of it. And so you're looking at the things that aren't feel like they're working in some way.
Yeah.
And you're putting all of the value on that, instead of looking what actually is going right or what is working or what is on track and putting some value on that.
Yeah. Because, ultimately, in any destination of where we want to go within our lives, the thing we're not hunting is the destination. The thing we're hunting is the emotional reward of accomplishing the destination.
Yes.
Like, how am I going to feel, emotionally when I accomplish this thing?
Yeah, so you're not looking for, say, money, you're looking for freedom or success.
Yes.
You're not looking for the promotion, you're looking to feel accomplished. So people will look at it from a physical perspective, but actually that's not what you're looking for.
Yeah.
You're ultimately hunting for the feeling of what you think that thing is going to give you. Mm-hmm. Yeah, is that what you're saying?
Yeah. That's ultimately. So I think for anybody that is going through their lives and they're feeling lost, I think one of the things that's super important is you got to ask yourself a different question. Don't ask for, okay, where do I go? What do I do? What you got to ask yourself is, okay, if I could ultimately, what's the ultimate feeling I would like to feel that would indicate to me that I'm found?
Yeah. What
have I found feeling-wise and emotionally? Don't worry about how you're going to get there, or don't worry about what it looks like. Ask yourself, what is it you're ultimately wanting to feel? Mm-hmm. And because feelings are your GPS. They are the thing that tell you you've got there. Like if you're set into your GPS, I want to go to this beach in the west coast of Australia. When you pull in and you see the sign that says you're at the beach and you pull into the beach and you stop the car and you step out, you have that sensation of, okay, I'm not stressed anymore. I've made it. And then you sit on the bonnet, you look out into the ocean, you have this sense of appreciation, you're looking around. You feel, okay, now I want to go down onto the sand. Now I want to take my shoes off. What are those feelings that you ultimately want to feel? Mm-hmm. And that's really, I think, for anybody that's feeling lost, the first thing you don't need to go anywhere to start to register the feelings that you want to feel.
So I think that's an important thing. It's so important because what happens is, I think when you're feeling lost, what happens is the emotion that you're in cycles and it's like you perpetuate that cycle.
Yeah.
So whatever that lostness feels, whether it feels like stuck, whether it feels like despair, like you're not moving anywhere, whether it feels like comparison, whether it feels like I'm not good enough, or whatever that cycle feels like. Mm-hmm. It's like the more that you perpetuate the feeling, the more that lostness is going to perpetuate.
Yeah.
So you're 100% right. If you want to have a new experience, you've got to jump over here and go, right, if this where I'm at now equals this feeling, and this feeling, what does found feel like?
Yeah.
It feels like this. Okay, what are the things I can do right now, today, that are going to help me access that feeling? Mm-hmm. Because if I can access that feeling today, then I can now start to become the person who is even potentially and remotely able to achieve that outcome that I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because it's like this person, here they're stuck in this cycle of feeling lost, of feeling trapped, and they've got this dream of feeling free and feeling successful, right?
Yeah.
But over here they're accessing the feeling of failure and feeling trapped all of the time. They think that magically something's going to happen outside of them that's going to help them to feel free and successful.
And also they think that there's something that they have to do, but they're not aware of what they're doing is going to allow them to feel.
Yeah.
So they got it arse about face.
They have to get in with the feeling.
Yeah, what is it you want to feel? And so life will take those things off you until you understand that to create any outcome in your life, you have to get that creation requires what you feel about you bring about.
Yeah.
So, but they get it the wrong way around. They go, okay, if I do this, then I'm gonna. Well, what? Then you're gonna what? Then you're gonna feel what? What are you gonna feel?
Yeah. So you know that whole thing. You know, when we've spoken to Joe Dispenza in the past, and when we've worked with him, and we would talk about some of the stuff he teaches as well. He talks about that whole brain, the electromagnetic. Right?
Yeah.
And the electro is the thought out. And so people are okay with the thought out. They're like, I deserve, I'm worthy, I want to have the big house and the promotion and all the things. So they've got the thought and the electro, the electricity. What they forget is that if you want to create your reality, the thought and the feeling have to be aligned. The thought the electrode sends out, the feeling, the magnetic, the electromagnetic, the magnetic brings it to you. So the magnetic is the feeling. And accessing that feeling is imperative if you want to bring about anything in your life. So those feelings that you've got here now are... Those feelings that you've got here now are cycled over and over again. I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm stuck. I need to be this way. I don't know. What am I going to do? How am I going to get there? So they're worried about how they're going to get there instead of understanding that they can access that right now.
And those feelings that they're feeling is not life giving them a hard time. It's telling them that the recipe is to feel.
So if somebody is looking to not feel lost, how do they not feel lost? What do they have to do?
They got to ask themselves, you got to ask yourself the question of, ultimately, what is the ultimate feeling that I want to feel? It's the first thing we do with a mission statement once people get to STP.
Yeah.
And we start to go, okay, what are the 7 feelings you want to feel? If you were accomplishing, before we go, what it is you want to do, have, be, what is it you ultimately inside of yourself, 100%, what is that feeling you would be feeling if you were there?
Yeah.
Now, then people will go, okay, this is what I would be feeling.
Yeah.
But then you got to, then the next real step is, okay, when is the last time you felt that? And what were you doing at the time when you felt that? Because people think, I'm lost because I'm meant to be doing something here really profound. And, what if the profound thing I'm meant to be changing the world or helping people. Well, what if the profound thing and the world-changing thing you're meant to be doing is actually to begin to master your ability to create your destiny by allowing yourself to feel ultimately what it is you want to feel? What if that is the greatest contribution that you can bring to your life and to the world and to the family, is to start with, listen, what do you want to fucking feel? That's what you want to be asking yourself. What would the emotional signature feel like if you had accomplished what it is you want to accomplish? And then let the whats and hows take care of themselves. But people want the what and how before they fucking register the feeling, and that's the wrong way around. That is ultimately, it's the wrong way around. You have to really get clear about, ultimately, what do I want to feel?
And then, though, I think that getting clear about what you want to feel, I think, is step one. But I think then you have to access those feelings. Because it's not okay to just get clear with them. It's like... Because you might not know exactly how that's going to turn out. Right?
And you shouldn't do. You should really plan to be surprised.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know necessarily exactly, like when I was buying my apartment, I didn't know exactly what my apartment was going to look like.
Yeah.
What I knew is what I wanted it to feel like.
Yeah.
I wanted to I wanted to have the bedrooms separate because I wanted to feel like people could come to the space and feel like they weren't on top of their own space. Yeah, their own space. I wanted to have the laundry separate. I wanted to have a balcony. There were certain things I wanted because of what I wanted to feel. My old house, people didn't really come and visit. I wanted this to be a place where people could come, visit, have space, right? Now, I wasn't attached to the bedrooms not being next to each other. I was attached to what I wanted people to feel when they came to the house.
Right.
So if the bedrooms had been on the same side of the house, but it still felt like there was space, it would have been okay. Does that make sense?
Right.
But the feeling I wanted was this is what I want to experience in that apartment, right? So ultimately, though, it wasn't enough just to feel that. I needed to access those feelings. And so one of the ways I did it is I rocked up to that building every single day after work and I walked around there as if I owned the building. I imagined myself driving into the car park, doing things like that and access the feeling. But not just there, I started doing it in other areas as well. And I think that accessing the feeling, people think that accessing of the feeling has to be big or in big moments. It can be in small, micro moments through the day. And what happens is that we don't recognise those moments because we're too focused on what we're not feeling. I remember really having a hard time on my birthdays every year. Every birthday I had, I was really struggling. I had real struggle times. And one of the struggles I had was because I felt like I wanted to feel something on my birthday that I wanted to feel connected. I wanted to feel something on my birthday that I felt like I wasn't getting in some way.
So the birthday is going to allow me to
feel something. And it was like, I actually one year turned around because I also remember feeling like I could never tell my mum. I felt like I could never tell my mum how much I loved her, right? Her birthday's 5 days after mine. I felt like it wasn't landing for her. It never really fully landed for her how much I loved her. It was like I had this thing. I'd call her like 7 times on her birthday and just say, happy birthday, like just letting her know, like just on this one day of year, no. But I was realising, because it was 5 days after mine, that actually what I wanted was that for me. Like I wanted it to land for me. It wasn't anything to anyone else. Anyway, long story short, what I realised was the moment I stopped trying to get that and I stopped looking outside of me, everything I was looking for was actually already there.
Yeah.
It was happening in little moments that I was forgetting and I wasn't seeing because I was looking for some big grand gesture or some big
something
thing like, something's going to fall out from the sky and everyone's going to do this grand thing for me. And it's been like maybe about 9 years now since I've been like, no, actually, my moments come in those moments. Yeah. It's like, and that the reason I say it about my birthday is because that was a big time for me where I used to feel like that. I felt like there's something missing, there's a piece here, but I hadn't checked in to what was actually there because I was looking for something here, that some magical thing was going to fall out of the sky and I was going to feel something, and I never saw that it was there in the first place.
I think...
And so what I'm saying there is experiencing it in small bursts, in small moments, when you add them up, it adds up to a lot.
Yeah.
But we just don't think about that because we're so focused on what we're not feeling and what we don't have.
And then when we're focused on what we're not feeling and what we don't have, we also make a comparison with ourselves and others. We tend to go, my husband has purpose, my friends have purpose, all these people are doing these things. They all have this. And the minute you start doing that, that now you're not feeling what you want to feel, and now you're getting lost because you're creating 2 of your friends and none of you.
Yeah.
And so now you're losing yourself. And this is when people start to say to you, man, you're not yourself. What's going on? Why are you not yourself? And so really, if you got to see it like punching into the GPS what you want to feel allows your reticular activating system to really start to hone in and bring about what it is you want to feel.
Yeah.
So people who are highly successful will tell you, when I get there, that's what I feel. And then that feeling has to become familiar to you.
And I'm living that now. I get that every single day.
You'll see, if you really drill down on a person, they'll go, hey, you know what? I felt that only yesterday when I did this.
Yeah.
So you're not lost.
So this is, I think, the biggest key for me is like particularly in this work, I felt like I started too late. I didn't really know what I wanted. Like I was a teacher for all these years and I knew that there was something more, but I just didn't know what it was and da-da-da-da. And I'm like, if I could go back there and tell that girl that actually exactly where she was is exactly where she needed to be. Because in every single of those moments that she felt doubt was those moments where she summoned a part of herself that have brought her to the person that she is in this moment, and that's perfectly okay.
Yeah.
You're not meant to be anything other than where you're meant to be.
Yeah.
You're only lost if you can't see where you're standing is exactly where you're meant to be for wherever you're meant to be going.
Yeah.
And you don't have the full picture right now. You're never going to have the
No,
full,
you're never
we
given the
don't
full
have
picture.
the, like I'm 50 years old, I don't have the fucking full picture.
Yeah.
But what I do know is
the full picture would just make you feel disappointed.
Yeah.
If you had the full picture, you'd feel disappointed because you'd feel fucking ripped off. You'd feel like you were robbed of the journey, the opportunities. You'd feel as if you hot-wired yourself to get there. You'd feel as if disappointed that you let yourself behave like that and try to cheat. You lose the whole meaning of it all.
Yeah, and everywhere you are is exactly where you're meant to be.
And being lost is a part of being found.
Yeah.
You in order to be found, you have to experience being lost.
Yeah, and you have to experience that the place that you are is profoundly, in 10 years' time, you'll look back and go, I had to have exactly what I was feeling in this moment in order to be where I am today.
So, like, when I'm ever speaking to any of the clients and they're like, I'm lost, I go, good. I'm fucking glad you're lost. What do you mean? I'm glad you're lost. Why? Well, because on the other side of fucking lost is found.
And you being lost, we covered this in a recent podcast as well, but in you being lost, you're in the potential.
Yeah.
When you're in that potential, you can be anything. Instead of trying to be something, you can be like, here is where I'm at. What do I want to feel? That's where my potential is. Mm-hmm. That's where my space is. This space is perfect, fertile soil for you to grow into whatever you're meaning and whoever you're meant to be. So just checking into what qualities and characteristics am I having to summon just to deal with this experience.
Yeah.
And the minute you get that, the minute you realise that you're not lost at all, that you are exactly who you're meant to be, where you're meant to be.
The other thing is that we get a lot out of being lost.
Yeah.
We get a lot of attention. We get a lot of love. We get an identity. We get, people come around us. So there's a payoff of being lost.
Yeah.
And people who keep going, I'm lost, are really, really, the ego is very heavily getting masturbated when that fucking happens.
Because so many people are looking to...
Yeah.
They
do it because... they've watched it work for other people, or it worked for them when they were a kid, and it takes a bit to push away from it and to lean into, okay, what would it feel like if I was found?
So basically what you're saying is some people who get caught in that cycle get so much value from everything else that happens in being lost that they perceive they actually subconsciously feel that they're getting more out of being lost than they would if they got found.
So lost becomes their found.
Yeah. So it's like, okay, you've got to see, if you really want to move past that space, you've got to see, what am I getting from this? And why is this giving me value here? And then how can I get that value by, in this new way, if I so choose.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Very cool.